Welcome to Kazeros Raid Act 2 Brelshaza Gate2 guide video. This guide covers both difficulties. Ally skills will be explained in each timestamp. Battle items: Atropine, Dark Grenade, and Sacred Charm. The boss is Demon type and weak to Lightning element from Phase 2. Because of that, unlike Gate 1, you don't get full efficiency. Therefore, it's recommended to run the Lightning set when at least 2 DPS have 24 Awakening. If not, then just use Light Salvation. Phase 1. The boss has 420 HP. At the start, she swings the Scythe 3 times and does Perfect Block pattern. When the third Scythe passes the middle, Perfect Block. If you fail, then you get stunned with lot of damage. Before going to the mech, let me cover the patterns first. Mark. The boss summons puddles in the field. When players get hit by it, then they get a mark below their characters, and the boss gets attack buff which can be stacked up to 4 stacks for 40 seconds. At the end, she does a donut attack that spreads to outside. The safe zone is a little bit away from the boss. Stop the DPS and dodge the puddles, then dodge the donut. After several patterns, she stands still holding her hand. When she snaps her finger, meteors fall on players who have mark. This meteor does a lot of damage, and also leaves flame in the field which leads to DPS loss. So when she holds her hand, then marked players should go far away. Dark Hole. This pattern happens periodically. The boss teleports to the center by swinging Scythe. Stay out from the circle. Then she summons a hole, and the attack happens from the outer side. You get pushed to outside, so you should keep on moving to the center as long as you don't touch the hole. At the end, you perfect block when the last red range ends. You can do some DPS, then stick to our side and perfect block. In Phase 1, a clone combos with certain patterns. From some patterns, it's counterable, and some cannot. If you counter, then the clone will not combo for 25 seconds. Let me cover the non-counterable patterns first. 2 safe spots. The boss summons a circle that pushes out the players. Then 2 safe spots appear on where players are. Stay in either of them. After the explosion, dodge the rectangles. The rectangle applies a debuff, and if you use the skills for 5 times, then you get silent. When there's a clone, it tries to imprison you. If everyone sticks to her back, then it's easier to free people. Pull and perfect block. The boss spreads tentacles to 4 directions which slow the players and pull. Then she hits the center. When there's a clone, you have to perfect block when you see the flash. The tentacle also decreases your defense, so you can get 1 shot if you fail the block. Orb. The boss spreads orbs and then returns them. When there's a clone, red puddles appear which bleed you. If the orbs appear from the outer side, then she moves and then returns them. Pac-Man. The boss attacks in Pac-Man shape on front, then teleports to a player and attacks again. When there's a clone, red puddles appear which bleed you. Following patterns are counterable if the clone exists. Charge and counter. The boss charges to a direction and leaves rings in the field. When there's a clone, he requires a counter by looking to the boss. Counter the clone and dodge the rings. Pizza. The boss shows safe zone for 3 times and attacks in sequence. When there's a clone, he requires a counter in the second safe zone. Front shot. The boss charges energy and attacks the front and outer side. When there's a clone, he requires a counter in her front. Backstep and counter. The boss steps back and attacks the outer side. When there's a clone, he requires a counter from the side. Front and back cone. The boss attacks in cone range on front and back. When there's a clone, he requires a counter from the left. Following patterns don't have clone combo. Dark Beam. Explosion happens from the boss, and rain falls on players. Then beam crosses the field which does massive damage. All attacks apply darkness debuff. The explosion is hard to dodge since it's fast, so you should tell the pattern right away and dash out. If everyone sticks close to the boss with the supporter's care, it becomes a DPS pattern. Diamond Beam. The boss shoots beam in a diamond shape. Stick close to our back or front. Meteors. The meteors attack the players. It's a good DPS pattern with supporter's care. 335. She teleports to the center by swinging Scythe, and the cutscene happens. Let me talk about the hard mode first. Attack happens on outer side, and you will see colors on each 12 directions. These colors disappear soon, so party 1 goes to ×3+1 position and types their position and 3 colors in sequence. There are 4 colors in total: blue, purple, yellow, and white. There are 3 of each on outer side randomly. Also, from the center, a color will be shown. Party 2 calls out the color and Party 1 steps on the correct color that is called. Then a clone requires stagger. At the same time, the next color from the center is shown. Party 2 have to keep on calling the colors and stagger the clones as well. Repeat this until the last color is shown. Then stagger the boss at the end. Same colors can appear in one direction. In that case, ping that spot so others can improvise. If someone steps on the wrong color, then it's pretty much a raid wipe. Let me show you a different footage from the start with visual guidance. In the normal mode, there are no colors. You just stagger the clones and stagger the boss at the end. When you stagger the boss, phase 2 starts. From this point, lightning attacks do more damage. The other side of the field is ice. If you step on it, then you get a freeze debuff that can stack up to 3. When it reaches 3, you freeze and others have to free you. Therefore, you want to drag the boss to the center if she's on the edge. When you get 4 ally skill meter, then use Azena and her second cast. Azena is the strongest ally skill in Gate 2. Also, her second cast does more damage than the first cast, which is why you want to use it when you have 4 meters. Periodical pattern. IQ test. The boss teleports to the center by swinging Scythe. Let me cover the hard mode first. She shows colors 4 times, which includes 3 white and 1 purple. You have to memorize the direction and the sequence of the colors. White is the safe zone, and the purple means the opposite direction is the safe zone. In the normal mode, you ignore the purple and just follow the 3 white patterns. Over the time, the team meter fills up. When it reaches max, then the boss teleports to the center by swinging Scythe. Stick to the center, but don't stick too close to each other since players get puddle. At the same time, a minigame happens. Your character automatically moves to outer side. In the hard mode, you press the correct alphabet key when it aims the bar. In the normal mode, it will be spacebar instead of alphabet. If you succeed, then 4 players get a mark below their character. Those players should gather to the bottom side and move out when the mark disappears. Then 4 crystals drop and you have to destroy them in 9 seconds. These crystals have a lot of HP, so supporters should send full buff and no one should hold their strongest skills. If you fail destroying even one crystal, then it does raid wipe degree of damage. When this team meter pattern happens for the second time, the leader uses Nineveh. This one-shots crystals, which allows you to save DPS. You want to use Nineveh after 1 second from the first ice attack. Then you can land it on the boss as well. If you have one ally skill meter left, then use that too. Nineveh's second cast happens on where she's watching. This is also stronger than her first cast. Following patterns share 35 seconds cooldown and rotate randomly. Hide and seek. This is a hard mode exclusive pattern. The boss disappears and shows clones on random directions. Only one is real and is always in the cross direction. Quickly move to that side and DPS. The clones shoot beam which can kill you, so don't try to cross it if you're already late. Also, Icicle hits the players, so supporters should carry the party. Gravity. The boss holds her hand straight and dashes forward. Then she tries to suck everything by rotating clockwise. If you get close to her or get hit by the puddle, then you get sucked in. This doesn't kill the players, but turns their HP to 1. Follow her backside to not get pulled. You can DPS her by using skills that ignore the pull. Perfect block and stagger. The boss holds her both hands high and 3 people get puddle below their character. They should put it far away. While doing the stagger, if she looks at you, perfect block when it flashes. Her aggro changes every time. If you fail the stagger, then you take a raid wipe degree of damage. Following patterns come out until the raid ends. Energy Blast. The boss charges energy in her hands and releases. Then she dashes to the aggro and releases again. Just don't be close to her. It's a good pattern to drag her to the center. Perfect block and Ezreal. The screen becomes bright and the boss holds her both hands for a long time. Then shoots Crescent for 3 times by changing the aggro. Perfect block when she moves her hands forward. Stay on either back or front since she also attacks the side. Perfect block and Medusa. Medusa happens 2 times and the Scythe crosses the field which can be blocked. Look away from the Medusa and block or dodge the Scythe. If you get hit by it, then you cannot get healed for 1 minute. Teleport counter. The boss spreads ice on the front. If the range is small pizza shape, then the pattern ends. If it's a large Pac-Man shape, then she teleports to the aggro and requires a counter. Co-op counter. The boss freezes the field and requires a 2-man co-op counter. Immune to freeze by using spacebar when she lowers her hands. Then co-op counter. Free the frozen players after the counter. Butterfly. The boss attacks her side and throws Icicle at the same time. You can dodge the Icicle if you stay on far backside. You normally just stick to her and DPS by having care from the supporter. Fence. The boss surrounds the outer side with Scythe and attacks for 2 times which can change aggro. Sometimes she throws Crescent. Ezreal. The boss rapidly dashes back and shoots Crescent. This normally happens when she aggroes a far player. Puddles. 3 players get puddle below their character. They should put it far away. Slap 2 times. The boss slaps the front 2 times. The second attack has large range. Line. She draws lines in the field. Stay away from them. Icicle. The boss spreads Icicle. Just stick close to her. She can also shoot forward. Purple Orb. The boss moves and attacks with orbs. 145, she teleports to the center by swinging Scythe and attacks the inner side. Everyone spreads to ×3 and ×3 plus 1 direction. You will get puddle, so don't stick too close to each other. You will see an orb on either outer side or inner side. The goal is to destroy 5 orbs by moving clockwise while dodging the beam. The orb can be easily destroyed even with auto attack. If you fail to destroy it, then it gives darkness debuff to the person behind you. After destroying the 4th orb, all 6 DPS start to step on the outer side to get frozen by the 3 stacks of freeze debuff. The timing to step outside is when the puddle debuff reaches 33 seconds. Other two supporters should hide behind the nearest frozen player. Then she does wipe attack after the cutscene. This doesn't kill the players who are frozen or who are hiding behind them. Only one person can hide behind each person. Supporters should free the player in front of them and stagger the boss in the center. This stagger is very easy. That's why it's fine with only 4 people. When the stagger is done, then you go to phase 3. If it fails, then it's a raid wipe. There's a reason why I recommend you for 6 people to freeze. Let's say one party freezes and the other party hides behind them. If someone makes a mistake and fails to freeze, then this will kill 2 people, which is a restart. But if 6 people get frozen and let's say one fails to freeze, then they can hide behind any of other 5 frozen people, which is a lot safer. This footage, for example, Party 2 number 4 Condenser fails to freeze, so he hides behind Party 1 number 4. Now Party 1 number 1, which is Paladin, is in trouble, but since there are 3 more places to hide, he crosses all the way to where Party 2 number 2 is. Unfortunately, the wipe cutscene happens, but you still get a little bit more time before it hits, so Paladin manages to hide behind him just in time. Let me add a little bit more detail for this mech. When the mech starts, don't stand right on where the orb spawns since it does a lot of damage. In the hard mode, Scythe attacks on your way during the rotation, so be careful. The sequence of orb position alternates. If it started from inner side, then it ends with inner side. If it started from outer side, then it ends with outer side. Destroying the orb part is actually not that fair for all classes. Some classes have bad auto attack to destroy in time, so those classes should use skills. Also, some classes don't have range skills, so they have to step in the ice, which gives you freeze stack. For those classes, you don't have to start freezing from 33 seconds. You can naturally build 2 stacks when destroying 2 orbs on the outer side, so freeze after the beam ends. For the last 5th orb, you might fail to destroy it if you focus on getting frozen. It's technically okay since the darkness debuff doesn't matter at this point, but the orb also provides permanent attack buff to the boss, so it's better to destroy it if you can. Phase 3. The periodical and team meter patterns change. From this point, there's no ice field on the outer side, but instead, you can fall and die if you get pushed to the edge. For the ally skill, use Azena when you can. Let me cover some big patterns first. Screen break. This pattern always happens as the second pattern when you reach phase 3. Then it happens every 3 minutes. When the screen zooms out, quickly move to the safe zone, then dodge the line attacks. If you get hit, you cannot get healed for 20 seconds. Scythe perfect block. This pattern happens after 30 seconds from the start of phase 3. Scythe falls in the field. At the end, 2 of them faces each other. Then X-shaped path appears. Each party should split to the direction where there were no Scythe. Party 1 to the left, Party 2 to the right. The deadly beam crosses where the Scythe were. Also, some players get puddle. This does a lot of damage to other players, so supporters should carry the party. You will also see another Scythe trying to cross. This happens on the other side as well. One person from each party perfect blocks the Scythe when it reaches close. If you fail, then it does a lot of damage and you cannot get healed for 1 minute. When the team meter reaches max, she teleports to the center by swinging Scythe. Unlike phase 2 full meter, everyone should go to the edge of ×3 direction, so 2 people on each side. Then your character automatically moves to the center, and you have to press the correct key on the correct timing. If you reach the center, then you freeze and receive a lot of damage that can kill you. Then 4 clones appear in each direction and they all require stagger. 3 are fake. The real one gets debuff like party synergy. If it shows, then call others and they can ignore the fake stagger since they just explode in small range. Special pattern. After 4 minutes from entering phase 3, she teleports to the center by swinging Scythe. Then she charges for a freeze attack. Perfect block right before the yellow range reaches the edge. But if someone fails and freeze, then she stretches her hands for a few seconds, then teleports to a random spot and attacks in a cone range. People who got hit automatically moves to the edge. You have to succeed a fast spacebar minigame. If you fail until your character reaches the edge, then you die by falling. If someone fails the block, then you can watch where she teleports and quickly spacebar to her side to dodge the cone. Following patterns get newly added in phase 3. Periodically, she teleports to the center with her clone. Then she attacks the top and bottom. Perfect block after 1.5 seconds from the flash. When she flashes, it pushes you with some damage, and if you fail the block, then you fly away long distance which can kill you by falling. Ice Orb. The boss teleports to a random spot and attacks for 3 times. This can one-shot you if you get shotgunned. You will see 2 orbs nearby. Players should touch the orbs to remove them. If you don't, then it does Raid Wipe degree of damage. 6 orbs Ezreal. The boss attacks 2 times and spreads 6 orbs, then shoots a crescent. If she backsteps a long distance, then she shoots it for 3 times. In this case, the third one can be countered. Spear Counter. The boss holds a spear by looking at a player who has a mark and spins. Everyone should stick close to her. Then she requires a counter. Dark Orbs. The boss attacks nearby. You will see puddle and orbs. Dodge the puddle and destroy the orbs since they apply darkness debuff. When you take her down to 0, then that's the end of the raid for normal mode. But in the hard mode, there is phase 4. Everyone should move to the edge by dodging the Scythe. She will do a range attack. Move in after the second explosion. The boss has 112 HP bars and 4-minute berserk time. Also, if you touch the outer field, then that part collapses in 5 seconds, so you should quickly evacuate. This also means the broken direction gets smaller field, so it becomes easier to fall and die. Her team meter pattern becomes similar to phase 3 special pattern. When it gets maxed, she teleports to the center by swinging Scythe. Then she charges for a freeze attack. Perfect block right before the yellow range reaches the edge. If someone fails, then he can get killed on the second hit. Even if he survives, he will freeze. If that happens, she does the cone attack that triggers fast spacebar minigame. If everyone fails the block, then all outer field collapse. If you succeed the block, then you get a debuff above your mana. When this full meter pattern happens again later, people who have this debuff cannot block again since it just kills them if they do. There are 3 ways to resolve the second block. 1. All the players gather to one of the outer field when the yellow range fills up. Then come back to inner field after the second explosion happens. 2. Use Hyper Awakening when the yellow range is shown. In this way, you will not die because of invincibility. 3. Use Time Stop when yellow fills up, but I personally recommend the previous 2 solutions since you can't bring Atropine if you bring Time Stop. Medusa. When her berserk time is around 3 minutes, the team meter gets locked and the boss backsteps by spreading dark orbs. If you look at her, then you get charmed, so look away. If the leader uses Azena after she spreads the orbs, then it triggers Special Azena which takes down 36 bars. This is a huge DPS moment. The boss always moves to 3 o'clock, so make your position and DPS. To have enough ally skill bars by the time this pattern happens, you need 2 bars when you reach phase 4. This pattern happens again when the berserk time is around 30 seconds. If you didn't use Special Azena on the previous one, then you can trigger it on this second one. If you already used it, then players should destroy the dark orbs by not looking at her since orbs apply darkness. When the boss has around 1 minute and 30 seconds berserk time, then she suddenly does the cone attack that triggers fast spacebar minigame. Quickly dodge to her side or succeed the minigame. Well, that's all for this video. Hope the entire videos help you out. and good luck on your runs. Stay Giga Chad.